Bam.
As a kid, my heroes were my parents because how hard they worked. I know how hard they had it. They didn't graduate high school. They didn't go to college. My dad, blue collar, worked his ass off, third shift most of the time. My mom, bouncing around at grocery stores, working as a cake decorator in the bakery. And then, my dad delivering papers at night, all those things. And I would help him with that. All those things and that hard work. I saw and admired how hard they worked to make sure we had things, right? More than what they had as kids. On the other token, I also saw how they were scared to take chances. My dad had an opportunity to do something with his late friend, Mike Roberts, and open Mike had a video store back when video stores were cool, right? Back in the mid 90s, early 90s, actually. And he got scared. He stayed at AT&T and moved to North Carolina for benefits for my brother and sister with asthma, and the blue collar guaranteed paycheck. And I've never read a book or listened to a book. I started listening to a book. A friend of mine said, "Hey, you probably should listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad." And so I started to listen to some of it. I'm about 3 hours in, and a lot of that is true, but it's also, how you interpret things. And I look at that as like, most parents, including mine, like, dude, you just got to do good in school and then go to college and get a job. And people don't say, dude, if your calling is to run a business and motivate people and, give people opportunity and add jobs and build an organization or a culture and a brand, they don't tell you that. Parents don't usually tell you that. And a lot of it's because they don't have the experience. So, I used to tell myself all the time that I love my parents that they work hard, but I'm not going to work that hard, and if I do, there's got to be more for me. I mean, my dad, as hard as he worked, he couldn't manage money for shit. I mean, he filed bankruptcy multiple times throughout his life. So I would see this man work his ass off and then write a check his ass couldn't cash. Right. And so you learn from people around that you care about and you love. From their failure. Sometimes you learn. He'd always be like, don't be like me, be smarter than me, So I say the same thing to my kids, be better than me. So that I would say as a child, heroes was that. And then as I got older, there's different levels in your life that you look at. And I remember one of the first sales jobs I got, there was somebody that was in the loan officer side. I was working at First Union. He was doing so well. He took me golfing. David something, I forgot his last name. And I was like a good envy, like, wow, like this guy's got it together. He's about 6 years older than me. He's got a brand new car, brand new house, married with kids, doing well. And so you see people like that, you want to hitch at the hip with them and say, how can I get better? And then when I took a shot and opened my own business, there are several people, but, Todd Peterson was someone I followed who did good in security and then solar. And then, I started to learn. I mean, I never did a sales meeting before. I mean, you know how hard it was. I mean, look, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm pretty damn good at getting up and lighting up the room. I speak pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't stutter. I don't go, I don't do any of that. But there was a time I did. There was a time that I struggled and didn't know what to say, dude. And you evolve.
That's hard to believe, really, because I've never seen that, right?
It's so bad.
It'd be funny to have those recordings of your first few meetings.
No, it wouldn't be. So, but you get better, just like anybody else, Tom Brady works out to play better, right? You get better, you challenge yourself. I remember my wife and kids making fun of me. I'd be on a phone, sell an alarm system. I'd be like, and then when you get this and this and that was me thinking out loud. And I hear people on our director's call, I won't call them out, that do that a lot. And I'm like, gosh, I remember I used to do that. That person needs to work on that. I could get rid of that. You can get rid of that. And, you get better. And then I started really wanting to master my craft of motivating people. And so now I kind of look up to more like a Tony Robbins, right? Or, Steve Jobs as an entrepreneur and being a free spirit. How do we, get to the next level and being creative? So, I look at folks like that are kind of my heroes that I chase now, but you need somebody to chase. You need somebody to want to be like. You have to, you don't want to copycat exactly, but you want to, I was telling Ben, Ben's our CSO the other day, like 7 to 10 years from now, do we want to go down as legends in the industry? And I don't mean that like for our bragging rights. I mean, like, look what we did for our employees. That was legendary. That was unheard of. That is accomplishment to me. Forget the money, right? We give some of that, but like, that's the whole deal. Like that, you can't spend it all. but that
Yeah.
feeling is what I want.
We've talked about that before, and that's something super powerful, right? Like having that goal just to like fulfill others is incredible, right? So like maybe that being your 7 to 10 year goal, but to date right now, what's your proudest accomplishment? It can be business, it can be family, it can be whatever. What's your proudest accomplishment?
Well, on a family level, I've been married 19 years. It's been a roller coaster, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
kids raising kids. Liz is my soulmate. She's my best friend. We've got 4 kids, a grandkid. Like, I couldn't ask for anything better. But, you know, we have struggled, in times where it gets hard, life gets hard. And I would say my greatest accomplishment is my family, my wife and kids, and who they are to inspire me to try to be better. And then I would say on a business standpoint, I think we're not there yet, but I think us winning all the awards we've been winning with the Stevies, with the Globies, with the Inks, all of those are great. You give kudos to those, but really us adding all the jobs that we do is
Mm-hmm.
is really cool. I mean, who would have thought you'd own a business and have 1,500 employees that you affect? I mean,
It's
that's
crazy.
a big deal, and you stop and look and go, I mean, 1,500 people depend on me every
Yeah.
day. Like, what am I going to do? And, most people can't handle that pressure. I live for it. I need the pressure. I need to be challenged every day. And, you are on the director's call. I'm an asshole sometimes. I'm like, dude, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll make the call. Like, and I feel bad that I'm that way, but
Yeah.
this business is my child. So I'm going to get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated at it. I'm going to get pissed at the people in it sometimes and be like, this is unacceptable, because this is like a child that you're growing and you want it to be a great adult. And to get there, you've got to shape it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. And there was one thing that you were saying in there, with your accomplishment, just with the jobs. I just remember last year. Do you remember when like 700 was a big deal? Like 700 employees was a big deal.
Yeah,
Like, and now we're not even a year later, and it's 1,500.
I know. It's
Isn't that nuts?
crazy. It's
Isn't that nuts to think
crazy.
about?
Yeah. I'm
All right.
doing.
No.
Hey, I'm doing the ordering for the Christmas or the holiday gifts coming out to the
Yeah.
employees. It's 1,500 we got to order. 1,540 right now.
Yeah.
I just did that. I
Right.
was just talking to Lita about that. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it's like having one kid's easy to feed, but when you have five, it's like you got to go to the grocery store all the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So look, I want to know what makes Jayson laugh. Like I mean, like what cracks you up, or funniest moment maybe you've ever experienced,
Mm.
or both. We can go both here. Like what really like genuinely makes you laugh hard.
I would say, it's funny. Every time at dinner, our family talks about poop. I mean, I'm not bullshit. It's like poop comes up every time.
That sounds like my dinner table.
Somebody shit themselves, or somebody has to poop, or somebody's got gas, or what. It always goes, if we have a family dinner, it talks about poop, even if people are around. And, all of my kids are completely different, like completely different. Like Hannah's kind of a comedian. Like Hannah's funny and witty and also condescending. And then, Mackenzie is really funny and she's a legend in her own mind. She's kind of like me. She thinks she's the shit, but yet she's an introvert. It's weird. And she's also very athletic. And then London is my most independent child, but she's also probably the best leader I've got, right? She's the one that is the boss. She's a bully. We're not doing this. She wants it her way. And, and then Christian is, I mean, he is really turned out to be the last few years really sweet, because, he's like a tough kid, sports kid, but now he's like also loving and caring. He just got a kitten and he's like, I love my cat. And he's just a
So
good
you guys are a
spirit.
cat family now?
Yeah, we've been a cat family.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been a cat family. But, I think what makes me laugh is when I see the kids playing together and they're laughing, I laugh. It cracks me up. Or hearing the poop stories that we talk about. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. Like Hannah, she's going to kill me for this. This is not long ago. Like she went out with a new friend. Let me tell the story.
Can we say how old Hannah is or no?
Yeah, Hannah's getting ready to be 22, guys. She's not like 5. Okay. And Hannah, I'm sorry, not sorry, hashtag. So listen. So Hannah goes to the mall with her friend in Charlotte, and she met this new friend, and she's like, I really like her. And they have a kid, and Hannah has Lily, and they're on their way to the mall. And Hannah's stomach is tore up. And Lily's stomach is tore up. And her friend gets out of the car, they park, and she's like, oh my goodness, Lily has poop all over her leg or whatever. And Hannah's like, oh my gosh. And so she's like, well, I'm going to take my daughter. We're going to run in real quick to the mall. And, you know, you get Lily cleaned up and we'll meet you at the door or whatever. She says, okay. So then she gets ready to get Lily, and Hannah's like, oh my gosh, I got to poop. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And she's trying to clean up, but she's got to poop. And you can't make this shit up. She shit herself, but here's the best part. It slid right out her pants and landed on the concrete. And so you had shit on the concrete in the parking lot of the mall, in a covered parking lot. You can't make this shit up. And she's freaking out. And she's calling Liz. What do? I just pooped myself and it went on the concrete. I don't know what to do. I'm with this new friend. She's going to disown me. There's poop in the car from Lily. What do I do? And Liz is like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. She's like, I'm freaking out. So the girl comes out, and Hannah doesn't have it on her clothes. It slid down. I don't know how that works. It slid down. And she grabs Lily, and she's like, look, she's still pooping. And she shows poop on the ground. The friend's like, oh my gosh. She's like, we got to get in and clean them. So they go into Nordstrom's to go clean them. And in the elevator, Hannah has this feeling of, I just got to be honest. And she looks at her friend and goes, I just need to let you know that it was me that pooped outside. And her friend's like, what? And so they talk about it. And her friend's like, oh my gosh, I pooped myself before. Like, you can't make this shit up. So, you know, I really laugh when I hear stories like that, because Hannah's got a lot of stories like that. Hannah has no gallbladder, and she shat herself a few times, and the whole family laughs about that. Damn.